I've heard description of people that I have come to know and love dearly through my son's education. I know immigrants who may or may not have correct documentation to be in this country. I've come to know that they pay taxes.
No, they don't.
They work hard in small businesses that they have started. They serve on PTSAs in our local schools. They are our neighbors, our friends. They're our people. I'm
You're fine.
guessing, just based on the earlier prayer, that some of you may have attended an Easter service this past Sunday. If I could, I'd like to remind you that Jesus died and rose for everyone.
Sure.
Everyone in the whole world.
Absolutely.
And he was someone who understood immigrants, as his family spent time as immigrants, probably without proper documents, in Egypt during the early part of his life,
Give me a break.
fleeing from an oppressive regime in Israel. As a follower of Jesus, I'm trying to live like he did as best I can, and caring for the oppressed and marginalized is one area I know is near and dear to his heart.
Big
Would you
mistake.
please join me in making our city a place that loves and welcomes all people? Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Please refrain from support or opposition from speakers.
Ann David, followed by Heather Chapman and Gerald Wilhelmino.
The open border people. I guess they don't have doors.
Hi, my name is Ann Hewitt, and I'm so proud to be a Californian. I'm proud for California standing up to the bigots who target members of our great community. I love San Juan and believe the strength and beauty of this town is in great part due to the immigrants living here. My children too went to San Juan Elementary and Marco Forster Middle School and are now at San Juan Hills High School. And I have always been a big part of the PTA, worked with some wonderful families that, again, they're immigrants, they may or may not have documentation. They work so hard and they just want a better life for their families. And these are not criminals, they're wonderful people.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are criminals.
Immigrants are a vital and inseparable part of our state and local community in San Juan. 1 in 10 members of our community in Orange County are undocumented immigrants. SB 54 protects law-abiding people and their families and allows for cooperation in detaining immigrants with a criminal record. My kids have a lot of wonderful friends and their families who, again, have worked hard and are working for a better community and a better life for those around them, including all of us here in San Juan. I fully support SB 54, and I hope that San Juan will also stand up to the hate. Thank you.
Brother.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
That's offensive.
Hi, my name is Heather Chapman, and I'm a San Juan Capistrano resident. I also run a faith-based Christian nonprofit that benefits under-resourced neighborhoods of San Juan, and I love my city. Today, you are voting on what the agenda calls a state law that restricts law enforcement and endangers public safety.
Yes,
But
it
the
does.
question is, does it?
Yes, it does.
I've read Senate Bill 54, and I'd like to propose that it doesn't. I support this bill for 2 reasons. One, our law enforcement has a job to do, and it's not federal immigration law.
Yes, it is.
The only thing that Senate Bill 54 restricts is in prohibiting our law enforcement from practicing immigration law enforcement.
Wrong.
ICE can still do their job on their own time and on their own dime. Law enforcement can still do their job. And if law enforcement would benefit from ICE cooperation in order to do their job, they still can through a joint task force. But do I want our local law enforcement spending their own financial and human resources to help ICE? No, they have enough work already. Secondly, Senate Bill 54 keeps my community safe.
It doesn't.
Imagine when you were in kindergarten, instead of having an officer visit your classroom and reading books about the heroes of our community, you were at an early age taught to fear the police because they had the power to take your daddy away. That is what happens without Senate Bill 54. American citizens are not reporting crimes because they don't want police to get too close to their household. because 1/4 of California families are mixed status families. These mixed status families are not the criminals some think they are, but they are often victims. And that is exacerbated by the fact that they won't trust police unless police don't have the power to rip their family apart. One of my friends here in San Juan told me a story of a woman being raped in her alley. No one even considered calling the police. Another friend was being harassed by a neighbor, but she didn't file a restraining order. That makes me less safe. There have been countless scholarly studies indicating that immigrants are less likely to commit serious crimes than the native-born, yet immigrants continue to be treated like dangerous criminals because of isolated incidents that we see in the media. My neighbors are not criminals, but they will be victims if they can't trust the police to help them without deporting their family members. My perspective is largely informed by my Christian faith. There are hundreds of examples in Scripture that God is particularly concerned about vulnerable members of our society, and that means that His people must be equally concerned. When my grandchildren someday read about this saga in their history books, I want to be able to tell them that my city was on the right side of history. Council members, I urge you to consider what I have said. Senate Bill 54 does not restrict law enforcement and endanger public safety.
Yes, it does.
It protects our local resources, and it protects our local communities.
It's a law.
Thank you.
A bunch of garbage.